shape, fellow Toastmasters, Ashley and Karen. The terrible twos. Even if you're not a parent, you've probably heard of this stage in the baby's life. One day you have a happy, wonderful baby, and then they turn 2, and for a year they're just a walking temper tantrum. Now, I'm not going to try to promise you a cure for the terrible twos, but I do have some advice that will hopefully help you get through this period. And that help. Well, first let me give you an introduction. The research has shown that one of the main causes of babies changing temperament is frustrated. They're frustrated because they know what they want, but they don't know how to express what they want. Their verbal skills just haven't caught up yet. That's where baby signs come in. And I'm not talking about cardboard signs with a picture of I want food or I need to be changed. Although interestingly enough, I was just reading this morning that actually would work at that age. Instead, I'm talking about sign language, and this is where I'm happy that the lights came back on because my presentation would not be nearly as good in the dark if you can't see the wrong sign. So the first, if you decide to go with baby signs, the question is, well, when do you start? The obvious choice is when baby is able to do some simple gestures on their own, when they're able to clap or wave, and that's normally about 7 to 9 months. Although, if you really wanted to, you can start a little earlier. Around 3 to 4 months of age, babies start to develop what's called a passive vocabulary. Passive vocabulary is where they are able to understand what words mean, even if they can't quite communicate them back yet. So once you've decided when to start, next step is to pick which signs to start with. And this is, the most common are called the 3 golden signs. The obvious choice is milk. And if the mothering relationship can get over the fact that she's being compared to a cow, you can start with milk. The next golden sign is food, which may not seem obvious at first, until you consider that the time you're starting your baby with signs is about the same time that you're starting them with solid food. The third golden sign, this is probably the most difficult, is more. And the reason this is difficult is because food and milk are concrete objects, but more is a concept, so it's harder for the baby to wrap their head around. But once you've established the 3 golden signs, you can move on. There's 2 basic approaches. One is to follow American Sign Language, which is the chosen dialect for sign language in the United States. The advantage of that, of course, is your baby, both now and later in life, can communicate with other babies and other adults. The disadvantage, of course, is that American Sign Language wasn't created with babies in mind, so the signs are going to be difficult. So certain signs will be. The other choice is what I call the whatever works approach. You and your baby figure out some easy signs, and people outside your family won't be able to understand, but at least you and your baby know how to communicate with each other. Now, my wife Erin and I guess you can say we take a hybrid approach or a third approach, which is what we call the close enough approach. I'll give you an example. Our little daughter Rose loves birds, loves looking out the back window at the bird feeder. The sign for bird is you make a little beak basically in front of your mouth like this. Rose figured out how to make the sign, but she hasn't quite mastered putting it in front of her mouth, which is fine because she's a baby. Hey, close enough. Another example is diaper. The word for diaper is done down here at the hips. You go like this. Basically, I guess you're simulating either the pins on the old-fashioned diaper or the new, the pull tabs. Again, when it comes to babies don't necessarily know when to look at your hips or look at other parts of your body. So you just do diaper up by the face, since that's where they're looking anyways, and hey, close enough. now once you've mastered the golden signs and you pick an approach, either ASL or whatever works, or somewhere in the middle, you want to work on expanding the vocabulary, and as with adults, babies learn best through repetition. So the easiest way to introduce new signs is through parts of your baby's everyday routine. For example, when they're feeding, you can go to the baby and say, this is cheese. Is it yummy? Yummy cheese. And then when they finish, or do you want some more? Okay, Daddy, we'll get you some more cheese. You go get the cheese and bring it back. And you say, here's some more cheese. And there, through repetition, through the baby's normal everyday routine, you've taught them 3 or 4 new signs. And from there, of course, you can also teach them other new signs, like when they're going to go to church, or you can point out a dog, or you can ask if they're ready to get out of their chair, or you can tell them that it's time to take a bath. And you may notice that bath is very similar to milk. And our daughter, much like most babies, I assume, are a fan of both. And so to avoid confusion, this is another area where we use the close enough approach. So instead of using the sign for bath, we'd actually give the sign for shower instead and say bath, so to avoid any confusion. In conclusion, once again, if you're looking for help with the terrible twos, as we will be soon, baby signs are a good approach. Once you've mastered the 3 golden signs of milk, food, and more, and pick an approach, either, again, American Sign Language or some variant, you can introduce signs into your baby's routine, and then hopefully you'll be well on your way to a happy baby. Mr. Toastmaster.